All righty. What is going on, fellas? We are, Danny's running a little bit behind. He'll be here in like 5 minutes, but we are ready for more New York Jets football in prime time because everybody wants that. The Jets are just such a fun offense. We all can't get enough of them. Texans are fun. I mean, they usually are when they don't have all their receivers injured, but you know what? This should be a fun game regardless. I got a bunch of fantasy players going tonight. So I'm excited. I got Tank Dell, Kaimi Fairbairn in the Flock League. Zach has Joe Mixon. I got Brees Hall going in the Listener League and in my home league. So we're feeling good today. Before Danny gets in here, I might kick things off here and talk about my pick'ems for tonight. For those of you guys that are rolling on Underdog, I'll just kick it off right now. With those, of course, if you guys do want to do some pick'ems over on Underdog, you know what to do. Tail my picks here. Promo code FSE gets you up to 1,000 in bonus cash. The picks that I'm going with, as you guys can see them, I'm going to go off to the side so you can see me. Hold on. There we go. Joe Mixon, higher than 110.5 total yards. He's been over this total every healthy game this year. Xavier Hutchinson, 19.5 rushing yards, whatever, mainly receiving yards. He led the team in routes behind Tank Dell last week, so I feel like he might have a role. CJ Stroud, 8.5 rushing yards. I like the higher there as well. He's rushed for 3 or more carries, 5 of his last 6 games, and he's been over this total 5 of 8 games so far this year. And then I use the discount token, which may or may not be in your pick'em lobby. Some people said that they didn't have it in my TikTok comments today, but I did have it in mine. I don't know why, but if you do have pick'em discounts, definitely use it on Brees Hall's rushing yards. He gets too many carries not to hit this, even though it is a tough matchup versus the Texans. Also, worth noting too that there's NBA picks. Too, if you guys are basketball fans, you could always rope in football and basketball type of stuff. And I know a lot of the NBA pick'em entries, now that the season is underway, are getting boosted up pretty nicely. And of course, too, if you do want to tail my picks, you can also get this new customer free square if you are a new customer over on Underdog as well. That's CJ Stroud bonus pick. We're going to get into the flock questions right away. Like I said, Danny will be in here shortly. Starting off with Gunna Boy, he submitted his question a couple days ago. Not sure if I should trust Tua and my Dolphins players or go with Harris and Pickens. Okay, so he doesn't actually leave his questions here. Do we have any players? I don't see any players listed here. Okay, I guess I'll just go off of your question here. He said, not sure if I should trust Tua and my Dolphins players or go with Harris and Pickens. Maybe you were talking about Monday night. Hopefully you were not talking about Monday night, Gunna Boy. Please fill me in if you're in the chat. If you submitted this question or whatever, we can send you a voucher for a resubmission. But just generally speaking, you should be trusting Tua and your Dolphins players going forward. So that's definitely totally cool there. And again, Harris and Pickens are on bye this week. So maybe you submitted this question Monday night and we never got to it. I don't remember us not getting to a question Monday night. I can't hear you, by the way, Danny. But yeah.
You should be able to.
Yeah, I
already told you about this one. This is the one that he didn't fill it out properly, and I told him to resubmit, or we can send him a voucher.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's already covered then. Just FSC Glaze again. You helped create this beast. True. Okay. So this
Appreciate
is like a good team here. The wide receiver core, absolutely mental. St. Brown and Neighbors are going to be in your lineup for sure. I mean, I'm sure Nakua is as well. And Jefferson. Holy crap, dude.
Dude, I'm driving home and I see fucking Puka Nakua left practice.
Oh God.
You didn't see that? Yeah,
knee?
Same knee that he was hurting.
Oh God. Rushing back. You know what's great about that? I play Nathan next week.
God. I mean, I already played him and he dropped a hammer on me. And I'm kidding. My whole team got hurt that week. But I don't know, man. Like, my trade got like no reaction in chat today. I'm like, are people just like not tuned in or something? What's going on?
Yeah, I guess. Let's take a look at the wide receiver other decisions that he's got here. So tight end wise, you're probably going Laporta over the rest of these options. You got to get. I mean, if Nakua plays, you play Nakua, obviously. So I'll put him in here temporarily. And then London's got to be in your lineup, too. This is a crazy
It's got to be a Dynasty league.
This is a crazy team.
Yeah, this is definitely, Dynasty one quarterback. Okay. Yeah, the running backs, I mean, like, obviously you're going that. It does sound like, too, obviously you're never going to play Singletary over those options, but it does sound like Tracy's already in the 4th stage of concussion protocol, which is very ahead of schedule for it being Thursday. So if he can clear the 5th stage by tomorrow, it should be on track to play for Sunday. So very encouraging news considering he suffered that injury, Monday night?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So if Nakua is out, I mean, I guess you're not gonna know this though, because you'd have to play Wilson tonight.
Uh, just play Wilson regardless, and then you have to make the adjustment.
You're gonna sit one of these guys?
I mean, you can make the decision on Nakua versus London if you have to. I think Wilson is
I have
at least
London rated second of this group this week.
of those guys.
Yeah.
Where do you
Jefferson's
have
the only one I got higher than London this week.
where do you have them ranked respectively?
I have London at 5.
And you have all those guys under 5?
Yeah, I have Neighbors at 6. I have St. Brown at 8 because it's a pretty tough matchup for him in the slot. Then I have Nakua, I think, at 11, I believe, assuming he's healthy, 10 maybe. And then Garrett Wilson's in the mid-teens, I think, for me.
I have Wilson at 11. I have London at 10.
Yeah, I think that's too low for London. Maybe you're just Cowboys copying him, but
not even. Now, to be fair, Puka was in that. I'll tell you who my top 9 was. It's not like it was hate against London. Lamb, Jefferson, Brown, Chase, Amonra, Malik, Puka, Tyreek, Cooper Kupp, and then it was Drake London.
Yeah. So I'd say for now, you're probably throwing Wilson. Again, you wouldn't actually put him into your flex.
Just sit Puka in general, because even if he plays, he's going to be limited with the knee injury coming in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw Jefferson in the flex just because he plays Sunday night. So obviously that's how you want to actually configure the lineup. But yeah, I think you're probably sitting Puka in this situation just because you have to make this decision tonight, knowing that Garrett Wilson is playing. Yeah. I mean, regardless, if you lose this week with this team, I don't know what to say to you. So we could probably move on to the next question here, which is from Sawyer. Shout out, avid submitter. We'll fire you a voucher, Sawyer, because you submit a lot. Wide receivers are Puka, Neighbors, Wilson, Mason was my RB2, but he's dead now.
This is a very comfortable decline for me.
Yeah, I think Neighbors is worth this whole package.
That's why, right? And then you're getting the free implied upside of Mason being the handcuff to CMC. I especially knowing that you have stacked wide receivers, just run with that strength, honestly. Yeah, trade partner gets scary good. If trade partner gets scary good and those are your wide receivers, meaning that your team's probably scary good. I mean, you're without Puka. You need Neighbors straight up. It could be without Puka, sorry. But
yeah, I'm assuming you're screwed at RB2 because of Mason being no longer a viable option for you. But are Chase Brown and David Montgomery really going to move the needle for you to the point that you should move off of Neighbors? If you want to move off of a receiver for an RB2 that's like a needle mover, if you wanted to sell Neighbors for A-Chain or something like that, that's one thing. But moving off of Neighbors for, depth pieces again, Montgomery, I have him RB14 rest of the season. I think he's a good
better than I do.
Chase Brown, I have in my top 24. Darnell Mooney, I honestly probably have Mooney a little bit too low. I think he should even be a little bit higher than that.
You do have him too low, to be honest. I ended up resubmitting my rest of season rankings. Let me see where I ended up with him. I know I had him at the very minimum inside my top 32. Let's see where I had him though exactly.
He's a wide receiver 1 this year. I should probably move him up.
Yeah, no, for 100%. So I resubmitted them today. Wide receiver position. Darnell Mooney was a wide receiver 32 on the dot.
Yeah, right now, so I have him at 40. I would definitely take him over Deontay, Keenan Allen, Ridley, Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith, and Jigba.
Where do you have Hopkins rest of the season now that he's a Chief? I have him at 30.
Yeah, that's too high for me. I'm not convinced.
Why though?
Because there's just so many better options that I would have at 30.
I mean,
I have Amari Cooper at 30. You're gonna tell me I'm taking him over Amari Cooper?
I have Amari at 28. I have Evans at 29.
Yeah, I have Evans at 26 because I'm assuming he's only going to be out for a couple games. The other thing, too, is if you have Evans, you're not going to be moving off of him unless you are in a winning or moving towards him unless you are in a winning position. I do have to move Hopkins up since the Chiefs trade, but I think he's to me, it's would you rather have, Hopkins or, Keon Coleman? I think that's kind of the discussion we're talking about there.
Dude, Juju had 20 points coming off of half a hamstring. You don't think DeAndre Hopkins could be an 18+ point per game scorer in that role?
What? No.
Why? Why not?
Because he's 34 years old.
Okay, he's still been very good on a per game basis.
Also, that's not what makes you think he's going to play that role?
They've already said he's going to play that role. You didn't hear Andy Reid?
I guess. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it, dude. I'm starting. He's probably going to play outside X.
No. He literally got asked, how are you going to use Hopkins? He's like, well, we're going to use him similar to how we used Rasheed and Juju. That's what he said.
Okay, what happens when Juju's back on the field?
Juju versus Hopkins?
But like, what are you going to do with Juju if Hopkins is in
He
Juju's
can sit
role?
his ass on a pine like he was when Rashid Rice was on the field.
I guess. I don't know. I tend to think that Hopkins is probably just being overvalued, to be honest. I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, he's like a first ballot Hall of Famer. Go trade for him. I'm like, first of all, he's not. Second of all,
I mean, not first ballot, but like,
no, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a future Hall of Famer. I'll give him that.
I'll tell you right. So who's first ballot currently at the wide receiver position? Because I know you're not going to like this. He has got a better case to be first ballot than Mike Evans does.
No, he doesn't.
Absolutely, he does.
I don't know. Chat, we're not going to have this
first team All Pros does Evan have compared to DeAndre Hopkins?
Hopkins probably has more. I think peak Hopkins was better than peak Evans, but the longevity and the fact that he has a Super Bowl ring and he showed up in big moments in the playoffs definitely matters.
I wish Hopkins had a Super Bowl ring. He deserves one, but fucking.
I might get one this year, so.
I mean, that'll help his case.
Yeah, it definitely will. I mean, yeah, Hopkins versus Evans. I'm not going to pretend it's like an outrageous discussion. I think Evans has got a better case, but it is. I would prefer Evans to Hopkins as far as his Hall of Fame case. Anyways, Sawyer's trade here. We're definitely going with the neighbor's side of that.
Real quick, one thing. We're going to find out a lot more about his rest of season trade value depending on what happens this Monday Night Football. Because if he, in a full-time role, does play that Juju Rashid role, like I think even I have him at 30, that might even be too low.
Having a big game against our secondary, I wouldn't put too much stock into it, to be honest.
Fair.
I mean, so Chase versus Lamb.
I gotta say this. So Inarctus, I actually handled your review. I put it up on the YouTube and linked it to you. So if you check your Flock account, I actually replied to you with the link to that. So if you haven't already seen it, it is actually on your Flock account. I replied to you.
Okay, so TJ Witt, also shout out for the $23 trade question that you submitted here. Pick swaps are allowed. I have 2 second-round picks. He offered Chase and a first rounder for Lamb and a second. Lamb easier schedule, Chase tougher schedule. I mean, these guys are in the same tier. So whoever has the first on their side, you're taking that side of it.
I love Lamb. You're doing this trade every single time. You can arguably make the case of Chase over Lamb, and some people would.
And so, I literally have it ranked that way. I have them 3 and 4 in Dynasty right now. So for me, I would view it Chase over Lamb. Whitner says, don't know why you guys can't see my team on there. Whitner, are you Gunna Boy? If you can, we'll maybe try and get you a voucher, but I think we tried already and he didn't have an account made. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I believe so. So, Whitner, so send it to us. And then if it doesn't work, send us your sleeper ID and then we can help you with that decision. So we can kind of see what options you're dealing with.
Yeah. And also too, I mean, since you're in the chat right
he's not gonna.
Oh, you're not gonna. Okay.
Okay, then sure maybe he submitted a question and it hasn't shown up yet.
Oh yeah, if you submitted a question, there's still like plenty here. Like it's possible we got a couple down here.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll get to all of them. Don't worry.
Yeah, we got to rip through here. This is my squad. Go to go with trade above. Does it make sense to break up my wide receiver core for Montgomery? So the trade above was the Mason,
the one we said no to.
Neighbors one. So his running back too, like he said, okay, so you don't have Mason anymore, but you do have Johnny Brooks coming back, and you also still have Tracy. Yeah. So to me, I definitely would not do that Neighbors trade now.
I know to some people that doesn't seem like running back depth. To us, that is plenty at the running back position.
Yeah, like in my home league, I have behind Breece Hall, I have J.K. Dobbins, Tyrone Tracy, and that's it. Yeah, those are the only 2 running backs on my roster.
You think that's greasy? In my home league right now, I go 7 or 8 wide receivers deep, and my 3 running backs are Jahmyr Gibbs, Rico Dowdle, and Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, I also have Brooks on my IR spot, and I have Charbonnet on my bench as well. But as far as usable running backs, Tracy and Dobbins are my only guys behind Breece, which I'm totally fine with because I have a guy for bye weeks and I have a guy that I can plug into my flex. I'm probably going to end up actually flexing Tracy over JSN because he's been a certified bum lately.
Oh, TJ Witt, we literally just got you. TJ Witt, we literally just
unless he's got other questions down below. But Tracy's the guy that you're starting here, Sawyer, assuming he clears the concussion protocol. If he doesn't clear the protocol, you might be in a little bit of a bind here. If Brooks, I think Brooks is going to play. He's practiced in full the last 2 days, but you probably don't want to start him at this point in time. You would much rather play Tracy, assuming he clears the protocol. He was upgraded to limited today, so that bodes well for his chances to start, but you definitely would prefer to play Tracy here.
And for the record, knowing this is a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, you could even be able to, like, worst case scenario, if Tracy does get rolled out again, it doesn't sound like he will be, but in case he was, I'm sure you can find a usable back off the waiver wire in the shallow format.
Yeah, and I think what he's saying is we can't see his team. We can see it when we click into here, if that's what you're asking, TJ Witt. If we actually like look at it here, it doesn't. To be honest, it doesn't actually factor into the decision of this trade.
Yeah.
Like whoever's getting the one on this side, they're a complete toss them in a hat and throw them up. Like whoever's getting the better pick on their side of the trade gets the edge in this trade because they are literally a wash.
So he said, I'm saying I don't know why it didn't show my team. Yeah, okay, it shows for us now.
Yeah, he said, okay, got you. Yeah, it's we just have to click into the option one and shit. But yeah, whoever gets the pick is the one winning that for sure. The pick upgrade.
Yeah, it basically summed up like we think they're similar age. Obviously, I believe Lamb is 1 year older than Chase, but regardless, that doesn't mean much. Both obviously attached with good quarterback situations, alphas in their offenses. Like they're clearly same tier. So the fact that you're getting a plus to go either way, that's the side we'd be leaning.
Did Chase get a contract extension?
He hasn't yet, but I mean, he will.
Yeah, I know. I forgot if he got one or not because I remember he was holding out, and I don't think he actually ended up getting one. Beaver Lessa question here. They receive Achane, Metcalf, McConkey. You receive Derrick Henry and Swift. This is precisely exactly why I think Derrick Henry is a sell high because I actually, as you can see there, I have Achane RB5 and I have Henry RB10. Now, again, maybe you want to argue that Henry's over Achane. I'm not going to fight you too bad on that. I think that's definitely fair.
But Swift versus McConkey and Metcalf is just
not to mention in a full PPR league, like I will take Devon Achane over Derrick Henry. Yeah. He catches passes, Henry does not.
Yeah, no, I think I'm leaning obviously the same way. Yeah,
I wouldn't. Would you do? Let me ask you this question: would you do this if Metcalf was not in the deal?
Yes.
Yeah, like
I mean, if you need a running back, yeah, but like if you don't need a running back, then like it's close at that point. Obviously, Metcalf, I mean, just completely tips it the other way. But if you remove Metcalf from this deal, I think it's actually fair both ways. Like if you need a running back, you go with the right side. If you need a wide receiver, you go with Ladd. Because I mean, I'm assuming for this deal's purposes, Henry's probably being treated as a tier above Achane, which we don't view eye and eye with.
No, especially not in full PPR. I can't pronounce the name, but you guys see it there.
Manoa Sanft.
Yeah, there you go. Chase, Pittman, Keenan, Stevenson, Mixon, Kelsey. Okay, so I'm looking at his team. Hold on.
I mean, I want Mix inside here.
Yeah, I do as well. I don't really view Stroud as a needle mover at this point in time. So Daniels definitely gives you the edge at the quarterback side of this deal. But I view Swift definitely as like a sell high right now. I think he's run pretty hot on touchdowns and big plays and stuff. And also, Tillman's fine, but I don't really think he moves the needle either.
Also, Tillman wide receiver 58 for you?
Rest of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably need to move him up as well.
Because when I asked you earlier about the Tillman Worthy deal, like Worthy was much higher than him in your ranking. So that's why I made the offer.
Yeah, but you also wanted Prescott.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't want to give you Prescott for free in that deal.
I mean, you have Mahomes, so I don't know. Wide receiver 58 versus
like for
41.
What it's worth, Tillman is like looks better than Worthy right now, which hurts me to say.
Then you gotta adjust your rankings.
Just moved him ahead.
Good. All right. Yeah, but like earlier when you replied with that, I'm like, wait, what? Like I literally see him ranked higher than you in your rankings.
No, I didn't update my rest of season ranking. I usually do it like Mondays or Tuesdays. But I was watching my nephews on Tuesday this week, so I didn't get to update my rest of season rankings. I'm gonna do it during the game. That's usually also a good time for me to update my rankings is during games because it's like, there's a shit ton of commercials front loaded in the first quarter of the game anyway. So I just rip through.
So when Joe Mixon is just absolutely feasting, you can raise him above 9.
Yeah, I mean RB9 to me is like they're all very good options. The first like 9 to 10 running backs.
Trust me, I know I'm trolling you.
Yeah. Okay, so Jay Moose says we got DK Metcalf for Ladd McConkey and Chase Brown. The rest of his wide receiver core, you can see it there: Wilson, Nico Odunze, Waddle, and such. Drop Odunze for Addison, McMillan, or Tillman. So must be a shallow league. It's just a 10-team league, start 7. So Addison being on the waiver wire is not really that shocking in that type of format, but this is pretty easily Metcalf in a shallow format, right?
The 10-team, especially when you say I can drop X for those players.
Right, literally. You're freeing up a roster spot by making this trade. So why?
Just add one of those.
Question for you is why do you even have to drop anybody?
So basically, think of it like this: you're trading Chase Brown and Ladd McConkey for DK Metcalf and Cedric Tillman because that's basically what it is.
Or Addison. I would prefer Addison to Tillman.
I would take Tillman.
Yeah, I would prefer Addison to Tillman, but like Addison versus McConkey, like to give you guys an idea of the difference in my rest of season rankings, I have Addison at 37 and I have McConkey at 31. Like it's not a huge difference.
No, I feel you on that.
So yeah, that's the Metcalf side easily. And again, you should have a freed up roster spot here. I would just go pick up Addison. And I mean, because you don't really need the wide receiver help, I would say Tillman versus Odunze is probably a wash in a vacuum. But because Tillman's more of like an immediate producer, maybe you just hold Odunze because you have the rest of the help there at the wide receiver position. Next question we got from DJ Joseph Giovino.
Jovino.
Yeah. Okay, so you're trading away this Dynasty, two Superflex leagues, start 10, 12 team, 2 first rounders projected early to mid, Rashee Rice and Dalton Kincaid.
Left side don't care. Left side don't care.
Yeah. I mean,
those 2 firsts are worth Marv, and then I'd rather have Bowers to Rice and Kincaid.
Yeah, that's probably a fair discussion point. I mean, you could even make the argument, like I have Harrison still ahead of Bowers in my rankings, but you can make the argument that Bowers belongs even over Harrison too. But yeah, you're getting 2 like legit needle moving assets, and Rice when he's on the field is a needle moving asset, but we might have a little bit of a time delay here with the injury and suspension potential and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think and Kincaid at this point in time is not a needle moving tight end. Like I have him tight end 14 in my Dynasty rankings, as you guys can see there. So it's not great.
He's quite the opposite of a needle mover right now. In fact, if you have him in there, he's floor guy. That's what he is.
Sorry, he's a tight end 14 in my redraft rankings because Marvin Harrison is not wide receiver 13 in my Dynasty rankings. It pulled my redraft rankings for some reason. But yeah, that's a pretty easy side for the studs there. Jay Triolo says, considering Stafford versus Mayfield, I'm going Stafford
very
Stafford's
comfortably.
got a monster matchup. I mean, Mayfield throws like crazy, so he could probably still get there even if they don't have like the greatest game. But I'm worried.
Considering Breece Hall.
Yeah, considering Breece Hall. I mean, you got to start
very comfortably Breece Hall. Like what?
And then
Breece Hall's like my RB3 this week.
Yeah, it's crazy to do 2 tight ends. Wide receivers don't impress me right now. So I mean, Auten is like the preference that I have, and because Auten plays first, or actually, I guess they both play. One plays Sunday night, one plays Monday night. Would you start Auten over Jackson Smith and Jigba or Bigsby here?
Well, if ETN is ruled out and Bigsby's ruled in, I'm going Bigsby over Auten.
Yeah. Would you start?
I would say Auden over Hawkinson. The only issue is that Hawkinson plays earlier in the cycle. He plays Sunday night.
They both play Sunday, but Auden plays Monday night. So
yeah, right. I mean,
yeah, that's my question. Do you play 2 tight ends here, or do you just play Auten and sit Hawkinson? Because that's probably what I would do, to be honest. It's Hawkinson coming off of an injury. I don't think I want to play him in his first game back.
So I understand that. However, CoachSpeak Index has basically reported that Kevin O'Connell has been 90% reliable with usage-related information, and he basically said Hawkinson wouldn't be limited. So that's the information we're off of right now. Now, if you want to mitigate risk, obviously, I mean, Bigsby's such a great option. You just put him in over Hawkinson. If Hawkinson looks like that guy, you play him over Auten moving forward, or even you have Auten as a trade bait. Because, I mean, Auten without Evans and Godwin I think he's my tight end 8 this week. Like he's
I have him pretty high up. What I would probably do in this situation is put Auten as my tight end and play JSN. Because I love the game environment of that Seahawks.
I would play Bigsby over JSN very comfortably.
If ETN was out, I would, but I don't think he will be based on what we've seen from the practice reports so far.
Yeah, I mean, so ETN has been limited. He was limited last week before he got ruled out with a hammy, so that is something to monitor. And of course, Bigsby's been added to the practice report, I believe, with an ankle injury. So obviously, I did my little victory lap or whatever it was in the sleeper chat in the Flock League. I'm like, just in case, let me pick up this Dearness Johnson, and everybody's like, okay, whatever. Like nobody gives a shit.
No one asked.
No one asked.
That was my reaction. Nobody fucking cares. But yeah. I think, let's say, gun to your head right now, is this how you're leaving it? Or are you, let's say ETN's ruled in. Is this how you're leaving this?
If ETN is ruled in, yes.
And if ETN's ruled out, you would put Auten in your tight end spot and play.
I'm going to tell you right now, I have JSN in multiple leagues. He is the definition of mid. That's what he is.
He is pretty mid. Yeah, I'll give you that. He's like, someone like corporate wants you to find the difference between these 2 pictures, Wan'Dale Robinson and JSN.
Yeah, I mean, they have been based. JSN this year has 43 catches for 388 yards. So
can we get a fact check, Danny? Can you fact check me right now? Who's outscoring who? Because I don't know.
So no. This is crazy, all right? So Jackson Smith and Jigba is the wide receiver 24 with a stat line of 43 catches, 388 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Wan'Dale Robinson is a wide receiver 20 with a stat line of 48 catches, 333 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
He's Wandale, bro. Like, that's so bad. That's so bad. How are you not better than this? How is JSN not better than this? I don't get it.
Dude, but fuck Shane Waldron, am I right?
Well, this is like such a perfect scheme for him too.
I
Like, they're
know.
throwing like crazy. He should literally be feasting. He should be St. Brown by this point in his career.
Yeah. Good to hear, by the way, Ignarchus. When you said that, I'm like, I hope you got it, because that's like, I linked it to you in the chat.
Also, I compared Danny to Nick
dude,
Sirianni.
I wanted to throw up when I seen that. I mean, I get the Italian and I get the loud
You're
mouth,
not
but I'm
Dan
like,
Campbell, first of all. I don't know why you thought you were Dan Campbell.
bite a motherfucker's kneecap? Absolutely, bro. We're gritty.
You're not Dan Campbell, bro.
Why not? I'm a motivator, and I'm not cringe. I am cringe.
I think, first of all, like, I actually think Nick Sirianni is a good coach, for what it's worth. Like, I might be the only person on planet Earth that thinks that, but I actually think he's a good coach. And I changed my comp officially. I don't know if you saw what mine was.
Shane Steichen.
Shane Steichen to me makes a little bit more sense, because my quarterback play has ruined me this year, and that's exactly what's happened with Indianapolis.
Shout out, you were my former OC.
Yeah, really, same coaching tree.
There you go.
But yeah, we can move on to the next question here.
Trade away St. Brown for London. I would rather St. Brown rest of the season, but I think it's at least a respectable comment, to be honest, because again, I do prefer St. Brown, but London, he doesn't really get the credit he deserves. Like, numbers wise, he's right up there, like right on the edge of that top tier. Like, he would be like one of the first two names after like the top 8 or so that I have. I think he's my wide receiver 9 rest of the season.
Yeah, no, dude, he's literally been like a 29% target share guy on an offense that throws like freaking crazy, and he's having a much, like, he's taken the step that we all wanted Garrett Wilson to take, basically.
100%. For the record, by the way, I have Amonra wide receiver 8 and London wide receiver 9 rest of the season, and you're gonna hear that with Amonra wide receiver 8. It's like
wide receiver 8 for St. Brown's pretty wild.
I have AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Lamb ahead of him. Like,
yeah, I would take St. Brown over everybody that you just said, except for Jefferson and Chase.
Cool. With that being said, when there's 8 guys that have a viable case for wide receiver 1, any of them that you have at 8 is going to look disrespectful.
Yeah, I think there's just many tiebreakers that you can make. Like Nico coming off of the injury, that's a mini tiebreaker. Neighbors with the bad offense, that's a mini tiebreaker. London with the, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's, to me, St. Brown.
Amonra's safer than them. I don't think he has the upside that those do.
We've been over this in the offseason.
We've disagreed all the time.
I don't really get why you say that. I think it's just that he's a slot receiver that you say.
Not even that. Obviously, he's a stud. Don't get me wrong. But with that being said, I want the guy, like, I view Lamb, Chase, Nico, these guys as when we're in the
better
playoff,
real life receivers than St. Brown.
When we're in the playoff week, when we're in the playoff weeks, like, who's most likely to like win me my league down the stretch? And I just view it as being those guys, because I think they can average 23 points per game in a 4 or 5 game stretch. That's really what it is. Again, no disrespect to Amonra, he's fucking amazing. But when there's 8 elite wide receivers, any of them you have at 8. If I had AJ Brown at 8, it'd be the same reaction. If I had Tyreek Hill at 8, it'd be the same reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who's likely to win you your league? I mean, the guy maybe playing the 49ers in week 17 could be that guy. I don't know.
I mean,
that could be him.
The Cowboys play the Eagles in week 17, you know?
The whole, to me, I just think it's a biased narrative that you have against St. Brown. Because he's a slot.
I like Amonra. I have him in so many spots.
I guess. I don't know.
I literally have him in the listener league. I hope you're right on that regard.
2 likes. 2 likes.
Wow. Come on.
Come on, guys. Come on. Hit the like. Even if you hate us, you should like the video.
Yeah, fuck.
2 likes is, you might as well hate us at that point.
Let's keep ripping.
Yeah. Okay. DW Maine.
No. I would rather cut. No.
I think I would do this.
No, why?
Because I think McCaffrey has a chance to pace the entire running back position once he's back on the field.
You think he's going to pace like Barkley and Breece Hall in them?
Yeah, I do.
With how good the backups looked and with how serious the Achilles is?
Well, first of all, Jordan Mason hasn't been good since like week 3. Second of all,
what? He's averaging like 5.4 yards per carry on the year. He's been
awesome. But not much of that has come recently.
Oh, come on. He left the game.
Ask a Jordan Mason manager if they've been happy to roster Jordan Mason in the last like 6 games.
He had 3 yards per carry against the Cowboys, sure. Right? It would be the games before that. 4.14, 8.11, 6.36, 5.13. Like, his efficiency remained intact.
Yeah, and that's resulted in 0 games of over 10 PPR points since week 4.
I get that. He left 2 games early. Let's fucking relax.
I don't know. To me, I just look at it as McCaffrey is just an absolute stud. And
I
they
get
both,
that.
because it's Kupp, like if it was a different young receiver like Puka or somebody.
See, that's where I
disagree.
disagree. Like, I think Kupp's a top 10 receiver the rest of the season.
I don't disagree with you, but Kupp has just as much injury risk as McCaffrey, and McCaffrey's better.
Better in what way? They're going to average
He's
similar
more
points per game rest of the
valuable for
season.
fantasy.
They could very well both be in the similar point per game range.
A legendary running back is absolutely more valuable than a back end wide receiver 1.
Kupp has high end wide receiver 1 upside.
Not with Puka on the field, he doesn't.
Why not? Why not?
Puka's on the field, he does not have high end wide receiver.
Why not?
Upside. Because Puka is very
consolidated. Sure, it's a very consolidated situation. Puka just left practice with a knee injury.
Yeah, I know. It's McCaffrey is the best asset in fantasy when he's on the field.
Then rank him as a top 5 running back rest of the season because Puka.
I have him at 8, and that's only tie breaking because of the injury. That's the only reason he's at 8.
Sure, I mean Cooper Kupp is a stud attached to a great offense with Stafford when it's healthy. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm going Kupp. I'm going Kupp. Very
I'd rather have
easily.
McCaffrey.
I would rather Kupp straight up, and you're getting Javonte juice on top.
Yeah, Javonte's. If Javonte is juice,
hey, if you want to keep hyping up Alexander Madison on a week-to-week basis,
I don't hype up Alexander Madison.
You love Madison.
He's a functional RB3 is what I call him.
He's your favorite running back in the league.
First of all, Javonte Williams is, if he's juice, he's like Pedialyte mixed in like lukewarm water. If that's the juice you're getting from Javonte Williams, like he ain't that much juice.
It'll help you when you're sick, bro. When you're starving, you're sick, you need something to refresh you. He'll refresh you. He'll refresh you to the tune of 14 carries for 53 yards.
Yeah, it kind of annoys me that I would have an RB2 on my roster right now if I just kept Javonte Williams. But
did you drop him out of rage?
No, I didn't drop him. I traded him to Mason. Remember, I traded him Javonte for Amari Cooper.
God.
And then what would actually be nice is if I didn't trade Amari Cooper, JSN, Bucky Irving, and Kareem Hunt for fucking Brandon Ayuk. That would have been nice in the flock league. But
I mean,
you live and you learn. If that was a consolidation move for a different receiver who was a buy low, maybe like literally any other receiver that I've been buying low at the the last couple of weeks, that probably would have worked out a lot better for me.
If this was like, by the way, in this trade, if it was like Deebo Samuel, that's one thing. But I just believe Kupp has a similar ceiling rest of the season to Christian McCaffrey, which is why I'm not doing that.
Oh, that's a wild take, man.
Why? He's been a 20-point per game scorer before. And literally,
first of all, Cooper Kupp's like outside of 2021, Cooper Kupp has never been as good as Christian McCaffrey in fantasy.
What?
Outside of his legendary season, Kupp's.
In the 8 games he played in 2022, he was averaging like 26 points per game.
Oh, I could pull up splits of Christian McCaffrey's 8 games all day.
Dude, they're similar assets, which is why I think getting juice on Javonte is.
They're not similar assets when Puka's on the field. They're similar assets if Puka's injured.
It's a very consolidated target situation over there in the Rams. Like he got 8 targets last week, and that's when Puka coming back.
Puka out targeted him.
Sure, and he still had 8 targets, scored 16.1 PPR points in that game.
Yeah, I don't know. The very fact that both of those guys are very good makes them both back-end wide receiver 1s and neither of them high-end wide receiver 1s.
I think both can coexist. I mean, we were seeing Chris Godwin
agree.
Do the exact same thing.
I think both can coexist. They're not coexisting is not what Christian McCaffrey does.
Was Chris Godwin literally not the wide receiver 1 in points per game before he got hurt, with Mike Evans being a back-end wide receiver 1?
He was.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting that to continue the entire season, though.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Also, high-end wide receiver 1 is still worse than Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, that's assuming he's going to get back to full pre-injury, especially knowing that Garendo and Mason have looked good, and he's dealing with an Achilles tendon.
They're not going to touch the field once CMC is on the field. Let's be realistic here.
We'll see. All right.
Anyways, that was an interesting discussion there. Next question from Matt Cliff here. DK Matt Cliff. Wide receivers, we got Debo, Amari. Okay, Debo's on bye. So Devontae Smith is definitely in your lineup there.
Very comfortably.
Tight end is Bowers. He never sits.
Yep.
Debo's on bye. Hawkinson coming off of the injury.
Higgins didn't practice today.
Higgins still isn't practicing. So, I mean, Cooper is definitely one of the guys that you're putting in here. And then it's probably got to be Hawkinson, knowing that Higgins might not play. I mean, if Higgins plays, you're definitely playing Higgins over Hawkinson, but you might just
put Higgins in. Put Higgins in because you can always make that adjustment if you need to. He plays Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, because Hawkinson plays on Sunday night, so you can make that adjustment. Is there any other decisions? Yeah, I guess it looks like you're fine. at the other
All right,
spots.
we have to sprint through these, by the way.
Yeah, we got more questions we got to get through. I can rip through them here. Is CMC will CMC get in shape before the fantasy playoffs? Yeah, I'm actively buying CMC. Like if you guys are 7-1 or something like that, like you should be buying Christian McCaffrey because I mean I witnessed this in one of my home leagues like a couple of years ago when Saquon was dealing with the high ankle sprain and then he came back. I think it was 2019. I think it was.
And his second year as a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the difference between that and McCaffrey right now?
Obviously, there's a lot of touches under the belt, but like, what, dude? Do you not remember how stupid we looked last year on Christian McCaffrey?
Sure, he is recovering from Achilles tendonitis.
I know, and he's had plenty of time to recover. And
I don't disagree with buying
timeline at week 6 to 8.
I don't disagree with buying, but it's price tentative. If you're buying him as a top 8 running back already, you're not getting any margin for error.
I know that, but it's to me, he's a go big or go home type of asset. Like sure. If obviously,
why would you take him over Mixon straight up is what I don't get.
Because Mixon and him are as good as Mixon is, like a 5 point per game difference.
This year they have been?
No, rest of season they will be.
And why is that? Mixon's been averaging 23 points per game in healthy games he's played.
McCaffrey might average 28.
If he averages 28, I'll sign my nutsack.
It's a risk. It's total risk. Like Colin's right. It is a total risk. To me, I'm just willing to take it. That's where I'm at with Christian McCaffrey. And he
over Mixon is faded,
he won't cost you Mixon for most people.
No, I know. I'm just saying because you have him ranked over Mixon. Over Mixon, I think is faded. But we'll get through all the comments.
I think you should be able to get to McCaffrey for like Aaron Jones and a wide receiver 3 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Big difference. Big difference. I'm just saying because you have him ranked over Mixon. That's my gripe. If you have him at 9, I think that's fine.
Yeah. All right, next up, we got a question from Jay Garza, 98. Shout out to a 98 child. I was born the same year. Darnell Mooney, Jacoby Myers.
You're starting Mooney against my Cowboys. I mean,
you got to start Mooney. He's been electric lately.
He's the type of wide receiver that would kill us too, because I mean, if you remember Rashid Shaheed in week 2, Mooney could do that.
Wide receivers with thumbs are the types of wide receivers that can kill you. So. And that's no shade. Any wide receiver kills us too, and Darnell Mooney specifically has done so.
It helps those wide receivers when Trayvon Diggs is limping. Deron Bland hasn't played all year. Kalen Carson, who is our rookie starter, hasn't played since like week 3. It feels like so. I mean, can we just get fucking healthy? The Cowboys have been one of the worst injury teams this year. It's insane.
You starting Njoku just really quick over these other options?
Yeah.
Just
Njoku's top 5 tight end.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Shout out Gunna boy. Bucks banged up too. Okay, so he got actually the submission right this time, I believe in. Let's go.
Can't beat the Bills. Who should I flex? Okay, so you're talking Baker versus Tua Tagovailoa. I have them both not as like awesome starts this week. I think they're both like 18 and 19 in my rankings right now. I think I prefer Tua.
Play the one with healthy receivers.
Healthy receivers and like this is they got to have this game. Like they have to win. Like I know he doesn't play well against the Bills, but they got to win this game.
What happened to the elite Cowboys defense from last year? Losing half your starters really contributes to that.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to admit that they haven't been good.
Oh, they haven't been good, but also like, dude, they're without their top 4 edges right now. Their top 3 corners. Oh, I mean, Diggs has played, but he's banged up. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
And when they were healthy, you got shit stomped by the Saints, though. So
they weren't healthy.
They were good when they were on.
Bland didn't play then that game. Oh, like I get like he wasn't the only
edges.
Yeah, but to be fair, we were still without edge 3 and 4. But yeah, and I know what you mean.
Yeah. So
Najee.
Tracy.
Oh no, Najee's on bye. Najee's on bye.
I mean, you play Waddle because you're starting Tua here.
Let me just check the other
options.
Tracy's healthy. I gotta go Tracy, man. He had like 25 touches last week.
He did. Yeah. If he clears the protocol, you have to go Tracy, I think. Giants and Dolphins and Bills all play at 1, so it doesn't really matter what time you're looking at it.
Hear me out, dude.
Tracy would be my preference of that group, but Waddle would also be an easy swap if he's out.
I want to rank Tyrone Tracy even higher than I do, but I just can't yet. I have my 19 rest of the season for the record, but like if you asked me today who I would be wanting rest of the season between like him and I mean, am I crazy to say between him and Alvin Kamara? Like I would actually have to think about it.
Yeah, you're nuts, dude.
Kamara's banged up and he's been so inefficient.
I'll give you Tracy over like, kind of ham and egg or Tony Pollard types or whatever. Yeah. Like Brian Robinson, even I could probably actually, I'd rather have Robinson given the offense. They're pretty easy projection week over week, but once you get into the like Dobbins, Jacobs, Aaron Jones range, I would need to see another blow up spot from Tracy to get him into that range for sure.
No, I think that's fair. Again, like I think mid to back end RB2, but yeah, I'm just so excited. Again, obviously it's pure hopium as well because I mean I was high on this guy basically all offseason cycle, and now seeing him play at the level he has been pretty exciting, I will say. So we'll go on to the next question here from MVP Radius. Big shout out to Radius.
Okay, lineup's already set. I guess we're just going to check. I mean, obviously you're not sitting Josh Allen, Tracy. Okay, so Tracy versus B-Rob would be a conversation for sure if Tracy is going to help be helpful.
They both play in the same game.
They do.
So like if Tracy's fully healthy, you're going with Tracy, I would say slightly. Again, I'll see where I have them ranked. They should be close. Oh, I ranked it as if Devin Singletary would play, so I will have to make that adjustment because the news.
Yeah, I have it ranked that way right now too because I think it's going to be an uphill climb for him to clear. Are you going to start? I'm starting Dell over Shakir here. Yeah. I don't know about you.
I would as well. Now, you already have one player in the game tonight, so maybe that might be a tiebreaker for you. They're ranked 27 and I believe 25 respectively, with Shakir 27 and Dell at 25. So I would go Dell. I agree, but yeah.
These are a lot of tough decisions, man, because I think you could make the argument, like, if you do end up going B-Rob, let's just say, because, whatever, Chase Brown, Tracy, and Shakir are all pretty close discussion for me, I would say.
I might have to raise Chase Brown this week going up against Vegas. Like I have him at RB 19 right now, but when I'm looking at it, I probably would start him over Connor, Hunt, and at least Pollard.
I wouldn't get there over Hunt. I think there's gonna be a lot of goal line opportunities for him.
Okay, I got a question for you: Chase Brown or DeAndre Swift this week? I have Swift higher, but like I think that's like
Swift in the Bears play the Cardinals this week.
For the Cardinals,
I think, right?
Yeah,
I would play Swift. I think.
Yeah, so that's how I have it right now. I moved Swift down to 16 though because I still think Pollard, Tajay Spears kind of been banged up, though. To be fair, Pollard in his own right is questionable going into this game, but should have a decent game environment going up against the Patriots, who haven't been able to stop the run as of late. And then Josh Jacobs against the Lions. I mean, the Lions defense is tremendous, but also Jacobs has looked way more efficient in the last couple of weeks. And if Jordan Love is healthy, that's what I'm banking on the ranking being. If Jordan Love's out, obviously you drop Jacobs. But anyway, so let's get back to the questions because we still have more to answer.
So you're 100% Dell over Shakir here, right? Actually, Shakir's been actively just significantly better this year. That's why I'm saying it's like, no, it shouldn't be a slam dunk starting Dell.
I have Dell 25, Shakir 26. I
have Dell actually, I think a little bit higher than that, but I have Shakir also pretty high as well. Like
I think really the main difference for our Dell ranking is probably like I have Waddle higher, Adams higher, Mooney higher, Zay Flowers higher, and I have Josh Downs at 20 this week with Pittman. Pittman looks like he shouldn't be on the field.
I've seen a lot of Colts beat reporters and shit saying like he's not trying, like he's not giving effort out there.
I don't even think it's effort, dude. I think his back is cooked.
Well, yeah, I guess he was supposed to go on IR, remember?
Dude, he doesn't practice during the weeks, and then he shows up on Sunday. His back is cooked, bro.
Yeah. Like I have Downs at 20, but I actually have Dell at 19. Like I have him right ahead. And I have Shakir at 23. Like both of those guys are top 24.
Do you not have Metcalf or B-Tom in your rankings yet then?
I don't have B-Tom or Metcalf in my rankings.
That's the difference. Yet, no. Okay. I have them at 18 and 19 with the Q tags right now.
Yeah, I have B-Tom in my rankings. He's just not that high. I just tentatively ranked him a little lower in case people have to decide between Dell or B-Tom this week or whatever. I would play Dell knowing that B-Tom is probably going to be out, but we don't know for sure. He's practicing in a limited capacity. So next question we got here from Jay $, shout out. Wide receiver decision, Jaden Reed, Cedric Tillman, Brian Thomas. Well, obviously if Thomas is playing, you'd want to find a way to get him into your lineup, and that way would be to put him in your flex over J.K. Dobbins. But I think Jaden Reed is the correct answer as far as what guy you're going with. But like I said, if Brian Thomas plays and he doesn't have any limitations, I would play him over J.K. Dobbins. And I mean, T. Higgins too. If he plays and has no limitation, I would play T. Higgins.
Who's in his RB2 spot right now?
Achane and Gibbs.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, never mind.
This is a very good team. So
yeah, I would agree. Now, for what it's worth, the reason why you just simply cannot, you cannot bet against. Here, where is it? Scores and schedule, green line. You can't bet against Jaden Reed. As I understand, his involvement hasn't been that in the last few weeks compared to what it was. But when you're looking at the game environment, I mean, we're talking about a 48.5 over/under game. Like
the fantasy points wide receiver cornerback chart has him as the single best matchup of any receiver on the week 9 slate. Like his slot matchup against the Lions slot corner. Like it's free cash.
Dude, I'm sorry. Like when Jaden Reed goes a few weeks without like having a big time performance, like there's going to be like a 39.7 PPR point performance from him this week.
I literally, when we were doing our buy lows this week, I was this close.
I almost did too.
I almost had him as mine. I don't know why I didn't talk about him because I feel like he might have even been better than Tank Dell to talk about. But yeah,
I don't disagree. Now, I think part of it was like being able to hop on camera and think, yeah, the reason why this guy's a buy is we have a gut feeling he's going to go off this week. Because like if you looked at his recent usage, it hasn't been good. It's like, okay, what like would be the case? Like the data I bring.
That he's in high over under games all the time, and the offense is good. Like
also, I have both him and Dubs in my top 36 this week.
Just in case this comes up for Jay Dollarsign, if Higgins and Brian Thomas are both playing, which one are you playing?
Brian Thomas, very easily.
Really, I would play Higgins because the matchup for the Eagles is a little, or the Jags against the Eagles a little tougher, and Higgins has been a stud when he's been on the field.
He's been good. Brian Thomas has been better. Like that's where I'm at with it. Like I honestly think if Brian Thomas is healthy, he's just a guy you can't sit in any lineup.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. Scar, considering dropping Williams rest of season, I don't know who that is.
For Odunze, I would.
Oh, Javonte Williams, I guess is who he's talking about.
I thought he was talking about Jameson
on waiver. I call me skeptical on Odunze right now, man. Like I'm not ready to just throw him into this like elite upside rest of season guy right now.
Like the routes are there, the targets are there. He just, like him and Caleb just can't get on the same page. That's what I know. But like,
can you convince me he's materially different as a stash than Xavier Legette right now?
Not really. I think both have a ton of upside. I think Odunze, like if he does become the player we saw, has higher upside inherently in a better offense as a better player. But the issue is like he just hasn't played well. Like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I mean, there's running back decisions pretty easy. If ETN is out, you play Bigsby. If ETN is in, you play Chubb. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. So Chubb also nearly made my buy lows candidates as well because I thought his usage has been a lot better recently.
Yep. Douglas, with Douglas with potentially no May. If May is out, obviously he's not in the discussion. McMillan is interesting. You could, so I would wait with McMillan in my lineup, and if ETN got ruled out, I would put Tank Bigsby in. McMillan versus Javonte is close though, man. In a full PPR, because like you're getting 20 touches versus you're getting probably 8 targets.
Yeah. I think I would start McMillan over Javonte, to be honest. You think that's me being biased. I don't really think McMillan's been that good this year. Like he has not been great so far this year, but I just think he's got a lot of volume on top of his play here.
You don't need to convince me. I mean, like he's gotten good amount of share volume, A, and B, Javonte is going up against the Ravens this week. So
yeah. Okay, so I believe that was the last question we had. I will do a quick refresh to make sure we do have everything caught up to date here. But yeah, appreciate any of you guys
Brian,
who submitted questions as always here.
Brian, ball. Let's go, brother. Dak is going off. Let's get it.
Okay, so this is just Gunna Boy's question that we weren't actually able to get to. I'll just hit next question on this one. And again, he submitted again, so I'm assuming he was able to figure it out. But
just give him a voucher then. Give him a voucher.
Yeah, we tried already, remember? And he didn't have an account or something like that.
Got you. Okay. Yeah,
so we'll try and get that squared away for you, Gunna Boy, because we didn't get to this question the one time. We'll try and get that squared away for you. But if you want to, I'll quickly recap my pick'ems really one more time. I already did it, but Mixon higher than 110.5 rushing plus receiving. Xavier Hutchinson 19.5 rushing plus receiving. CJ Stroud 8.5 rushing yards. Again, you probably can't find the discount anymore, but Breece Hall, I was able to use a discount there for 57.5 rushing yards. If you can get it, obviously do it. I'm probably a little scared of Breece Hall's rushing yardage total just by itself. So I might not take the 67.5 unless you can get the discount. And then obviously the CJ Stroud free pick to those of you guys that are new customers on Underdog using the promo code FSE. You get up to 1,000 in bonus cash there as well if you want to go over any of your pick'ems as well too.
Yep. And so I have to get them into the back end. So just get to a comment and then I will upload these real quick for you guys.
So this is probably a stupid question because I know which direction you're going to lean here, but legitimately, I have a big conundrum this week. Like the Flock League question of Dak Prescott versus Patrick Mahomes is weighing on me big time this week.
I have Dak ranked higher.
Yeah, I'm not shocked, but can you tell me why?
Why?
I can make cases for both guys. That's why I'm like going back and forth on it.
No discredit to Mahomes. I think obviously it's a similar play. Like it's not like I have a big chasm between them, but
I also have Kelsey. Remember?
I mean, like if you want to go with the Kelsey stack, by all means, start Mahomes over Dak. Like I think they're close enough to the point where you can make that call. Just when I'm looking at the Falcons game environment for the Dallas Cowboys, they're coming off an embarrassing loss against the Lions, a loss that they probably should have won against the Niners this past week if their offense had come flat in the third quarter. To me, it just feels like the get right spot. And again, obviously there is some, not copium, but there is some optimism on my end because I am a Cowboys fan. Obviously, I'm going to see
there's some pessimism on my end on the Bucks defense, which is why I want to start Mahomes.
Dude, if you want to go Mahomes and that's what your gut's telling you, who am I to convince you? Because like they're very similar, like 18 to like 24 point projections this week. They're going to be somewhere between that. Now, one of them's going to score 24, the other's going to score 18. You're going to be like, oh fuck, I wish I went with the other one, but that's what it is.
It's part of me is like, having two guys go on Monday night would be nice too, in case I'm down like 40 points or something, and I need 40 from Kelsey and Mahomes as opposed to Dak, who plays at 1 p.m.
Hey, if you don't want to make that decision, you could just send me Dak in that deal that I offered you. No, I'm kidding. You have to rank higher than
I'll send you Dak just so I don't have to make this decision all day. I just need a run. I'm not doing the trade unless I get an upgraded running back too. That's the only reason I would ever make a trade with Dak.
Yeah, you're good then. No worries.
So Chase Brown, Tyrone Tracy, if they're on the block involving some kind of deal where I can use Prescott and another receiver or something like that, then absolutely I'll do a trade.
I think I'm the highest on those two in the league, so it might be difficult.
Okay, well, I know you're higher on. I guess you're higher on Tracy then rest of the season than Chase.
Yeah.
So I mean, you shouldn't be, in my opinion, just because you have like 7 New York Giants. I guess you just traded.
I traded Wandale. Well, people are like, well, everybody's joking around like, oh, like this and that. Like, Danny's just juicing Joe's team. It's like, well, I wasn't going to use Algier unless a Bijan injury happened, which that's what I'm like. That would kill my deal. Like if Bijan were to get hurt and I just traded Algier, that looks really bad. However, I do view as Wandale to Worthy as being an upgrade. And I'm like, okay, if I were to basically be selling Algier for $18 fab, which I can then use rest of the season to stream my kicker and defense, I don't think that's the worst thing. So that's kind of how I elaborated the deal in my head.
Yeah, I saw Mason in one of his clips said Breece Hall's going down this week. You know what? I actually wouldn't say no to that in this league specifically.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. No. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Doing it.
We're not doing that. Fuck off.
I'm not going to jinx it completely here, but Breece seems to be immune to the old.
Fuck off! Stop!
Dude, stop! I'm telling you right now, it would literally hurt me more than it would hurt you, dude.
No, it wouldn't.
Way more than you on Underdog, and I also have him in way more leagues than you do. I think.
Tell me how many more leagues you have him in with me, because I have him in like 4 fucking Dynasty plus redraft leagues, and on Underdog I probably have at least 10%.
So I have him in my home league, which is the league I care most about, which is worth like 2 points in my
I mean, sure, but the flock league.
I also have him in the listener league.
Sure.
I have him in Flocked Up.
Okay.
I have him in Debbie Degeneracy.
Yeah, I also have.
And I have him in one more Dynasty league as well. And then on Underdog, he's on my big dog team.
Okay, I also have him in like 4 leagues.
Yeah, he's on my big dog team, which is a $500 buy-in team.
Sure, I get it.
And then overall, I drafted him on 16.8% of my rosters as well, which is insane for a first-round player.
That's more than me. I have 11.6, but 11.6% for a first-round player still.
That's what I told you. I have more exposure to Breece than you.
Then why would you put that in the air? Shut up.
I'm joking.
I know. Nothing. I'm already way too scarred by this shit. Have you seen my team in the flock league?
Yeah, no, you are way too scared for this shit. But anyways, appreciate you guys for joining us. Hopefully, nothing bad happens tonight. But
shut up, Bryce.
We're rooting for Tank Dell, and yeah, I'm knocking on wood.
I knocked on wood.
Yeah, I'm knocking on stuff over here. Tank Dell needs to go off tonight. I have him starting against Zach, and Zach's team is really good. And I also have Kaimi Fairbairn, and we need a vintage 16 kicker points type of day from Kaimi Fairbairn tonight.
So instead of what you said about Breece Hall happening tonight, why don't we just see a 40 bomb? That'd be way better.
I'll take a 40 bomb from Breece Hall for sure.
Yeah, knock on glass to save your ass. Hey, that's a good saying. I mean, it is Halloween too, so like something scary could happen one way or another.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll have sneaky starts for you tomorrow, tier lists on Saturday as well. But yeah, peace out. We'll talk to you soon.